Sisters, this is your final call for Egypt. The ancient temples are stirring. The Valley of the Whales is whispering, and the Akashic codes are waiting to be unlocked. If your soul has been nudging you, then this is it. Time to pack your passport, your crystals, and your readiness for some serious 𝗪𝗶𝗀 upgrades. The doors are closing. 2 spots remain. So step into the mystery and walk the path of remembrance with us. Egypt awaits with initiation into the 𝗪𝗶𝗀 codes from December 11th to December 18th. Click the link below to claim your seat, and I'll see you between the paws of the Sphinx. Hi, Sacred Travel friends. Today is going to be a juicy episode. Everyone thinks expansional travel is about hopping on a plane to a sacred site. But here is the truth. The transformation begins the moment that you internally say yes, not when your feet touch the foreign soil. This journey isn't about outer landscapes. It's about the frequency shift within you. All the things that you sign up for without knowing that you sign up for it. And here's what no one tells you. Expansional travel isn't glamorous. It is raw. It purges you. It shakes you. It strips you down. You may feel exhausted, confused, or even broken when you come home. But that crash is not failure. It's the necessary integration, your system rewiring itself for a higher frequency. Now, I want to speak to you today about all these things that can possibly happen when embarking on a spiritual tour or sacred site to Egypt or any other country. So this is nowhere near a marketing pitch, because if I told you that you'd be puking your eyes out while receiving a frequency upgrade in the sarcophagus of the king's chamber, or you'd be lying in bed for a week because of the food wasn't clean, you'd probably not sign up for this kind of trip at all. Or maybe you would. There are things that I call choiceless choice, when you are no longer in the driver's seat, but your soul takes the decision from a higher perspective. So some of these decisions are, from a human perspective, not necessarily pleasant. And maybe you have said yes to a retreat or a pilgrimage and felt it immediately. The waves of emotion, a sudden purge, the inner clearing before you even stepped on the plane. And you are not alone with this. That's the part of the unseen truth of expansional travel. Because what happens is your soul starts unpacking the moment that you commit, and it unfolds for long, long after. So let me ask you, what would shift if you stopped looking at travel as an escape or maybe an Instagram show to take pictures and started seeing it as initiation? What would your next yes activate inside you, even before you leave home? I have guided women through these thresholds many times, from the trembling yes to the sacred site, to the messy purge, the crash on return, and finally the radiant integration. Each time I watch someone lean into this process, I see them shed lifetimes of weight, and come home lighter, clearer, more free and aligned to themselves. And by the way, there's 2 final spots open for Egypt this December. If you feel the pull, get in touch through the link below and join us for initiation on the 𝗪𝗶𝗀 grid. It's going to be an amazing journey. Okay, so the things that no one talks about, but I want you to know about spiritual expansional travel. Number 1, the transformation begins as soon as you say yes. That yes is not you signing a contract or paying the invoice to go to a trip. It starts much earlier. It's that energetic yes, that inner alignment that is like a full body fuck yes. And that may even contain threads, truths, situations, circumstances that you do not even tie to embarking on a travel. So bear that in mind. This is about traveling on the outside. But the real deal That's happening in the internal energetic shift. So you want to prep for that. I am inviting you to pay attention to synchronicities. Maybe you want to start journaling so you can get an idea on the themes that will reveal itself that might already be present long before, and that might already be present in a way that you do not necessarily tie it to a journey that you are embarking on. Number 2, as much as it is about the outer journey, it's about the inner frequency shift that you want to prepare for. What sets expansional travel apart is this: it is never about the place. It is about you. The site is only a mirror, a catalyst, a portal. But the real journey is the inner initiation, the way that your energy field is rewired layer by layer from the yes to the integration. Now, I have come to experience Egypt as very, very physical, meaning that the energy upgrades in your body and field can create big shifts. And I am saying this, they can, they don't have to. And I'm not saying this to scare you, but because I really want you to know. And literally, I am sharing this with every person who is embarking on a trip to Egypt. I want you to be prepared. So that's what I'm telling literally everyone going to Egypt, whether it's friends, family, or fellow pilgrims. So you want to prep in order for your physical and energetic system to neither crush while you are there, nor open, nor upon returning home. Because this is not nice. So what you can do is you bring elements from the sacred lands that you are embarking on into your daily routines, even before you embark on the journey. For me, for example, this looks like that I sit in meditation. I bring in either sacred artifacts that I have bought in Egypt or maybe here, or the picture, the papyri that you can see behind me. So anything that you feel for you emanates this frequency and that frequency upgrade of the sacred site medicine that you are embarking on. And my pro tip is calculate back from day X that you leave and the previous months. So on that very same day, sit in meditation with the guides and guardians of the land and your personal guides to get a feeling for what you are embarking on. You can connect to these sites beyond being physically there. So that is a great deal. And, I can tell you so many people who are like, yeah, I know. And sometimes I am even like that. I know, but actually doing it makes such a big difference because your body and your energy field is already subtly embarking on that shift and immersing yourself into these different realms and dimension of frequency. So also, that is the energetic part, but also prep physically, like eat healthy, sleep enough, give yourself spaciousness. And that might sound very simple and maybe even stupid, but like, why is she telling me this? Because it matters, because it really, really matters. And I know that sometimes we can get caught up in our day to day and we have a lot going on before a trip and we have a lot going on after the trip. Like, make space in your calendar for your own being. And if you don't make it, it could as well be that the natural unfolding and your body just like pauses you and does that for you. So you want to prepare before. So anyone had some aha moments while listening to this, please shoot me a message on Instagram. I'd love to hear your experience. Number 3, the purge. I find it funny how people seeking out plant medicine experiences and ceremonies feel that the purge is a natural state of the process, whereas with sacred travel, I find it so often overlooked and even underestimated. So I want you to imagine for a moment how your perfect Egypt pilgrimage, how your perfect trip looks like. So closing your eyes, and maybe you get pictures of yourself in beautiful clothing, floating down the Nile, having amazing community sister time in a circle between the paws of the Sphinx, receiving these light code upgrades in the Temple of Philae. So usually we associate like all of these very positive emotional moments with it. And while all of that is true or can be true, there's multiple truths of how your experience may unfold. The first trip to Egypt, as a participant for me, actually half of the group fell sick on the ship because of food poisoning. And now imagine this happening to you, being stuck in bed while everyone else ventures out to see and like be in the temples and have these beautiful experiences. So there is a perspective where you can get mad and angry about you being deprived of that temple experience. If you rewire that, there is another perspective that you can surrender to the truth that what you're going through, that this is actually your experience. This is your Egypt experience and the medicine you came to receive from Egypt or any other country like Peru, you name it. Hey, friends, I want to share something truly incredible and life-changing with you today, and that is the quantum frequency products of the brand called Levilytes. It is cosmetics on the carrier essences of water and essential oils containing over 3,000 energetic imprints, vibration, the highest form of nature, of herbs, flowers, flower essences, some minerals. And the way how I have experienced them to work for myself and for my family, my friends, my clients is that they truly give the trigger to ourselves to remember our blueprint. And on a physical level, that is a healthy body. The communication, the balance, the hormones of how our cells communicate with each other. And on a spirit level, this is also a trigger to really remember your divine essence. It's unlike anything that I have come across, which is rare because I work with energy medicine basically every day. And so if this is something that you would find intriguing, then I'll invite you to check the link in the show notes where I share more information. I am also hosting bi-weekly calls where you can find out more information on how these different lines can support your health, your cellular regeneration, and also your consciousness journey in the most beneficial way. Another experience that truly happened was a woman from our group puking her heart out while being in the sarcophagus in the king's chamber, which you can imagine is not a very pleasant and graceful way to receive energetic upgrades. But it happens. And I want you to know, because so often our minds think spiritual expansion comes in one way, where it actually comes in multiple ways. And sometimes the purge already happens even before you go. Like last time I went to Egypt, 2 nights before boarding the plane, I was woken up in the middle of the night and literally like all floodgates open. Like my body was releasing through every opening possible. And I knew that this was not food. I like the moment it happened, I was like, oh, I remember. I remember you, Egypt. You got me. It was the frequency upgrades working me inside out and allowing me to empty all the baggage, conscious or unconscious, and leave it right here where it belonged, at home, so I can go empty and I can receive. And my pro tip for you before, during, and after the journey is really empty as much as you can. Empty your mind, empty your expectations, empty all you think you know, empty all identities and what you think that should, could, or need to happen while you are on the ground, and let the magic of the landscape, let the magic of the temples, of the site, of the constellation, of the groups, let that be your guide. Number 4, the actual unfolding of the experience on site and divine sequencing and order. For years, honestly, I thought travel would change me only once I had arrived. I packed my bags, I boarded flights, and I waited for the magic to begin at the destination. But what I discovered is this: the real shift happens long before you leave home. It begins in the energetic alignment, the soul remembrance codes, where your cellular memory receives and transmits and goes into a reciprocal yes with the sacred site that you are embarking to. It deepens in the preparation, then the purge and the surrender. And it integrates only when you return home or after you have returned home for long. So I want to speak into two things here. The earth and sacred sites are a mysterious, meticulous organism with its own intelligence unfolding. You never know what you get until you get it. In Egypt, there is a saying that nothing happens until it actually happens, which so many times being there in the temples, but also like on the Red Sea, it is, excuse my language, it is fucking true. Like nothing happens until it actually happens. You never know if things happen or if things align or not, because we don't see and we are not in the driver's seat as much as we would like to be of all of the net, of all of these silver linings of energy and the constellations that have to come together in order for an event to happen. And I'm not saying that like we don't have a plan. We do. We have a framework. There are certain things. And also the truth is nothing happens until it actually happens. So you better surrender to that. So don't get stuck in your head about which temple and site or pyramid you need to see. Sometimes spirit is really redirecting you into the real magic and medicine that needs to happen. Especially when we travel to places with such a heightened state of energy, there is a divine timing and sequency that I came to understand in which our body and field is capable of opening up to it. So I had a very funny, like retrospectively funny experience in Avalon. When I was there, I didn't find it funny at all, where I was in Bride's Mound to meet Bridget. And fun thing happened that I was in the place and the mound wasn't there. Like it simply wasn't there. I even had to ask people on the streets and they confirmed that I stood in the very right place. But it was nothing that revealed itself to me. And it was only weeks later on the Isle of Iona in Scotland that I finally met her. And she also showed me like why this particular meeting had to happen at her Fountain of Youth first on Iona, and why I wasn't able to access that other place in Avalon. And so next time I'll go to Avalon, I will be able to access Bride's Mound, hopefully. There is something about the sequencing, but there is another layer that I call spiritual permission or spiritual readiness. And I guess I want to invite you to really stay humble in your approach to temple sites or to nature in general, to ancestral magic and the earth herself. And then she'll open up like a lotus or a rose. And when we approach these places from an ego perspective or a mind restricted perspective with all the shoulds and the need to, and expect things to go a certain way, the sacred site medicine of a place will often teach us different. One more point about the actual experience is this. For years, I thought that it's only about what happens on site. The temple ceremonies, the soul remembrance in the pyramid, the spiritual experience with my tribe. And again, the truth is, your experience and energy upgrades happen not only to you, but also to your family at home and your field. They are part of the shift because you are part of a collective nervous system. So I remember this one time around Christmas while being on a pilgrimage in Egypt where a situation arose at home that demanded my full attention. And it brought up many triggers around worthiness and my identity as a mother and a wife and a patchwork family environment. And at first, I tried to ignore it, like push it away, even to a point where I was like blanking out completely. But also, a timely decision needed to be taken for Christmas. So there was a moment when I was swept away by, deep emotions. And then this happened. We had a circle on our dahabiya on the boat on the Nile, learning about the unfoldment of time in spirals, not as a linear concept. And whilst in meditation, I received such a big clarity about my positioning and how, when letting go of self-created ego pain, stepping into that higher octave of self, how the whole constellation, like my family constellation, can actually shift and literally like quantum jumps in timeline are possible. So I was able, whilst being on the land, it was actually the medicine that I needed to have in that time, being on the land, being in this constellation of sisters, to be able to be away as much and to come from that observer's perspective to see what was happening at home, which sometimes is very hard when you're like in the daily hustle, to get to elevate and lift myself up into that higher frequency and perspective. And I could have never had this experience, which was truly one of my biggest ahas for my personal life, had I tried to push this out even more of my awareness, or kind of like, oh, no, I'm here now. Like, this is what counts. It's all, again, like coming back to the net. It's all of these constellation, all of these things that are happening at home, at work, like any situation that is being mirrored back to you in whatever way, close or far, that is part of the experience. So embrace it. Like, try to embrace it as much as you can. Number 5, energy crash while hitting home. Have you experienced this? If you did, please send me a message. I'd love to exchange experience. So imagine this scene. 14 days in Egypt, one temple after another, every day, holding a different energy, a different initiation. There's early morning sunrise for the Sphinx, there's late night for private visits in the pyramids, and you are very much in your own bubble, having that expanded state, like boom, 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 one experience after the other, which is very unlikely that you are having that at home. And then you get back home in a totally different environment. You go back to a job, back to a daily routine. You will go back to maybe nagging kids, back to a partner that is craving for your attention as you've been away, back to the duties, back to the responsibilities. And also coming back with soul clarity, with remembrance and soul knowing, and all of a sudden you are being asked to translate this into a human experience and existence. Sounds harsh, right? Well, I'm not gonna lie. It can be. It can be. The first time Egypt for me, I was like coming back home, I was ready to change my entire life inside out, because the spotlight of what was not in alignment was so bright and was so loud. And so when you get out of the bubble and you go back home, imagine it like this amplified field of where it's literally like in your face, all the things where you feel like, oh, this needs to change, that needs to change, this is no longer in alignment. And for me, that's definitely been the case. And I felt so overwhelmed, and I was ready to to rumble with everything. And then the universe literally pressed pause. That was in 2021, 22. So I got back home day 2 back home, I got COVID. And in a not very pleasant way for my body. But whilst this was not necessarily a pleasant experience, this is what needed to happen. So I was not in the driver's seat and had this hibernation time. So first of all of these energetic codes and the cellular upgrade could happen, but also in my field, everything could sort itself out and realign itself to my energetic frequency shift. So the universe sorted things out for me. I didn't have to do anything. I mean, of course, the integration continues, but that is an important point. Like what they say is don't make any major life decisions, at least until like 4 to 6 weeks after you have returned from pilgrimage. And I can truly, truly attest to that. Don't wait. Wait and witness. And actually, you might hear it in my voice right now as I am recording this. I just got back from 1 week in Colorado, a trip that even 4 weeks ago, I didn't even know that it was happening. So technically, I should not even be recording this, rather lay in bed as I am surrendering to this after integration that my body is taking time to internalize all the shifts and the land codes that I got to retrieve. But I really wanted to record this episode for you so you can have it out. My tip, prepare, inform your field and family, and also bring them into the experience consciously. It is really worth it. And when it happens, take time and allow your body to rest. It's part of the cyclical integration process for sure. So after this recording is done, I'm going to go lay into bed and just pause and allow my body to have a break. Number 6, last one. Your integration is not linear and it may take time. Do you know this feeling when you're having that light bulb moment, thinking you have it all figured out, and at the moment your mind kicks in, it's all gone again? Do you know this? If you do, I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear how you deal with that, because I haven't really found a good solution to like grasp on these threads. So I want to share with you my what I call like my toilet moment. Again, like going back to Egypt, it's been a very pivotal experience at that time in the Osirian and unraveling soul codes in terms of like how the journey traverses through the sky between incarnations. And there was one thing that was very prevalent to me in every temple that we went to was a record bird. And you might see it. It's a bird with 2 almost like arms, praying arms, outstretched wings to the back, sitting on this plane, sometimes even between the lotus flowers, mostly on all the pillars in the temples. And I had asked the Egyptologist that was with us, like, what does that mean? And he gave me an explanation that I wasn't really happy with. I was like, well, maybe not. Because his explanation was that this is the common people praying to the pharaoh of that time. And I was like, no, there needs to be a deeper meaning. So I spent this entire trip and even weeks after trying to figure out, like trying to go down many different rabbit holes with Osiris, with Orion's belt, with the rabbit, like trying to find information and clues that would lead me into a knowing of what that was. And at one point, I just left it because I'm like, okay, whatever. Probably it's never going to reveal itself to me. And then this one moment, like literally months later, I am sitting the toilet, and we had this printed toilet paper. And I look at the paper, and there is a hare, a bird, and a star. And I hear, like, look at it. Look at it. It's a constellation. And that was such a light bulb moment that I was referring to earlier. I was like, oh my goodness, I got it. I have it figured out now. It's a star constellation, and it's nothing to do with the pharaoh. It's more like Orion and the belt of Orion being that portal for souls as the Son of Man to ascend and descend along with the stream of consciousness of our galactic center. And the star was the symbol for, like, it's a star constellation. And the hare and the bird, those two were a clue that if you, for me, that's my personal interpretation. That was what I received. I haven't heard that anywhere else. If you look at, like, Orion, Osiris is always in alignment with Sirius. And then if you look below Orion, the hunter, he's got these the hounds that are catching a hare. But if you look at the geometry of that hare constellation in the sky, it actually, like, it's a one-on-one overlay of that bird, of that Reckitt bird. And so there was this whole other understanding of, like, Isis and Osiris, how they are guardians of cosmic stargates and portals, how our souls travel. Okay, but that's for another episode. What I wanted to tell you with this is that sometimes your mind, our minds, like, they don't figure out. And months later, you're like, oh my God, I know now. So what you want to do, set dedicated time aside after you have returned home. That can be meditation, that can be journaling, even body work. Like, tapping is great for integration, for frequency upgrades, and integration is great. Sharing with friends, the more that you talk about it, everything that helps you to get the frequency codes into your body and into your state of being, so they can permeate and radiate out into your everyday life. Because this is where the true spiritual mastery happens. Not in the temples, at home, at the dinner table. All right, so let's recap these 6 points for you. Number 1, the transformation begins as soon as you say yes. Number 2, as much as it is about the outer journey, it's about the inner frequency shift that you want to prepare for. Number 3, prepare for and surrender to the purge that might happen before, while, or after. Number 4, the actual experience on site. So broaden your view and embrace whatever shows up. Number 5, avoiding or preparing for an energy crash at home. And number 6, integration. I feel what sets expansional spiritual travel apart is this. It's never about the place. It's about you. Again, like a site is a mirror, a catalyst, a portal. But the real journey is this inner initiation, the way your energy field is rewiring, is remembering its true purpose, its true state of being. Because the truth is, you are the portal. The site is the reflection. Expansional travel only mirrors back what your soul already holds. So your transformation begins now. With your yes, and it ripples through that every step that you take, even after you return. Every journey is an invitation to dissolve, to expand, to integrate, to rise, and to remember. All right, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. I'd love to connect with you on Instagram. So I am answering all messages personally, and it brings me the most joy to hear back from you after you listen to an episode and let me know how it resonated. So hop over and shoot me your comments. I'd love to hear back from you. And as always, stay curious and try to escape the ordinary. I will see you next time.